This is Mark and Charity's Coffee Podcast.
Mark and Charity Coffee Podcast for Wednesday, April the 26th. And rarely have two more tired people ever decided it was time to go to work and do a radio morning show. But we did it.
Oh, I've been this tired before. It's
we're
fine.
Professionals.
You, on the other hand, how much sleep did you get? What did your thing say? Your Fitbit, your phone? How much sleep?
If I showed you, you wouldn't believe me. Bottom part. Asleep says 50 minutes. 50 minutes.
Oh, there. Yes. Mark
Not
has
even
slept
an
in the
hour.
last, but you did have a nap.
I had a nap in the afternoon
yesterday,
for 2.5 hours. Oh, it's glorious.
But that's after getting up yesterday morning, too. So Mark slept for 50 minutes last night.
That's what overnight got back from
And
the
it wasn't
Jays
like
game.
you were just hanging around the house. No, yeah, you went to the Jays game. So
Yeah.
you were doing things. It wasn't like you were just awake. You were active, which I applaud you for
3
having your
hours.
eyes open at this point.
3 hours from my house to Rogers Center,
Door to door?
picking up my son,
Taking the
driving, go train from Oshawa, getting lost in the new Go train terminal at Union.
Oh, did you?
I didn't.
Oh, I love it.
Oh, it's beautiful. Oh my
Yes.
gosh. It is worth getting lost in. It's gorgeous.
It's so nice.
But from there, I didn't, how do I get to fall? I asked people and then I found it. Okay, good. And then you take Skywalk.
Yep.
Up so by the time we got in, it was 6:30. I left my house at 3:30.
And the game started, what, at 7?
At
7:05?
7, yeah.
Yeah.
So it was
you were
great, half an
good.
hour. But I wanted to meet Joey Chestnut.
Yes, that
and
was the
meet and
goal.
greet ended at 6:30. Let me tell you how badly this ticked me off. Steph texted me, or called me when we were driving. She said the Jays just texted out that the meet and greet for Joey Chestnut is 5:45 to 6:30. They tweeted that out at 4:30 in the afternoon.
Of course. Because they didn't want the hordes of people.
They should have. It's their job to attract hordes of people.
I'm sure there were enough people there to begin with, but yes.
No, Steph got in line easily and got a video and sent it to
Oh.
me. And oh my gosh. So if I'd have known that I had, because he threw out first pitch, which I think was a ball. I think it was a little wide. It wasn't on the, after the incredible national anthem singer. She was fabulous.
Was she?
Yeah, she was good. Again, 2 national anthems, well sung, not trying to
Just
audition
sung.
for
Just sang the
American
song.
Idol. Sang the songs, which I
Beautifully.
appreciate so much. And then he came out and threw it a little bit wide, a little bit low. Ball one, but there the game's underway. Then he came back up to the Schneider's booth. They call it the Schneider's Porch, which is where we had our $20 tickets. You don't get a seat. You can stand in this area like a patio, and it was amazing. Up high in the right field. They're not going to hear you if you yell at the players, but $20 and we're in there. We had a great time. Anyway, so I did get a chance to meet him afterwards. But it was like, as he was leaving, almost accosting him, hey, picture. And then, oh my gosh, Mark, what are you doing? In my head, that's what he said. I don't think that's actually what he said.
But I'm so glad you did.
Yeah, I know. It's
And now it's off the bucket list.
bucket stuff, which was
But
great.
that's pretty awesome. I was so excited for you. But as I shared, I admitted to you on the way home yesterday, in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, please let this go well.
Yeah.
I would have felt horrible.
Well, the thing is,
if it had sucked.
if I had been exhausted after a terrible experience,
Mm-hmm.
I would just chalk it up to, well, I'm not going to do that again. But this was so good. And Andrew doesn't really get into a lot of sports, so I didn't know how he'd feel about, because he gets up to go to work for 6, so he's
Yeah.
up at 5, starts work at 6, so he's going through it too. And I thought, well, maybe he wouldn't like that. I said, yeah, he'd love to do it again. But he said, but I have Thursdays off, so can we do this on a Wednesday maybe? Good thought. Good thought. And then he and I are going to go see Jimmy Eat World this summer in Toronto.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
For a father-son
Is it a
rock
midweek concert too?
Monday night.
Oh, wow.
It's
So
a
it's all
Monday
week.
night.
Jeez, I
Yeah.
get to spend all week with you catching up after that.
So, that's another 1 a.m, and my ears will be
if
ringing.
you're lucky,
Yeah.
you should just take the Tuesday off. Stay with your
Yeah,
daughter.
we'll see.
And
Maybe.
yeah.
Maybe. We'll see.
Because it's great, but wouldn't it have been nicer to stay in the city last night or closer or not even have to get up this morning?
Maybe, but that was part of the story.
Well, yeah, this time around.
Yes, true.
This time around. Jimmy Eat World, not as big a story as Joey Chestnut. Like, we really built this up.
Unless I get on stage and start singing the middle with
if
them.
that happens, which I don't think it will, Mark.
Not without
but if it
restraining order.
happens, yes, you need to come to work the next day. this was a whole bit. This was a shtick.
And it lived.
Part of it was,
lived
anyway.
up. Because in that section, there were 3 guys dressed in hot dogs costumes.
It snowballed this morning. Okay, I'm going to stop you for a minute.
Okay.
Because we, of course, had to talk about your experience last night. But through all of this, it really snowballed this morning because you talked about going and meeting Joey Chestnut, which I don't know, honestly, if it was on your bucket list to begin with.
Not
but
really.
it was a good example of what people put on bucket lists, which led to a different conversation this morning. And through your stories last night, these 3 guys came up in the hot dog costume, which led to a different conversation. Like it snowballed into all these little elements that became our show this morning, which was awesome.
And these guys are great because I tweeted it out, and by 7 o'clock they were up and ready to go, and they said, it looks like we're going to have to find a 4th costume. And that's when Joanne Berry, principal of Frankfurt Public School, on Facebook, how did she contact you
She
this
emailed
morning?
me because we've been in contact. They have a career day coming up later in May, which I'm going to go be a part of. So I've been talking back and forth with her, really looking forward to visiting the kids. So she had my email, and so she just fired off an email like at 6 o'clock this morning. It was so early. I'm like, why are you up? She's like, I'm just heading into work. I'm like, oh my God. She is a dedicated educator, this woman.
Yeah.
Wonderful lady. And she said, well, I have a hot dog costume. What? And then they turned it, like I said, it snowballed. She has a choose your day, and I love that. Choose your day costume chest in her office. And she sent a picture of it. So if a kid's having a bad day, or she's not feeling it that day, this chest inspires her and the students. Okay, choose your day then. How is it going to be? Let's be something else then. Let's do something else today.
Yeah, great idea.
And we'll embrace it. So within that, she bought this hot dog costume, which she says she's never worn. She's been waiting for the perfect opportunity, and it never came about. And she admitted, I was hanging on to it for you. Now it has a purpose.
So she's going to be retiring, so we gave her a call.
Hello.
Hi, Mrs. Berry.
Good morning.
Mark and Charity summoned to the principal's office once again.
Very early.
Yeah. Why don't we just head this off and have a preemptive meeting before the day begins?
Well, and the fact that you're in your office already, Principal Berry, that's wow. We thought we started early.
Principal of Frankfurt Public School, Joanne Berry on the show for 2 reasons. First of all, to thank you for your illustrious career and wish you all the best with your retirement coming up.
Thank you very much.
How
Thank
long?
You.
How long you been in the big office?
Well, here for 4 years, but 30 years in education. So
Wow, amazing.
Do you think you've seen any changes over those 30 years?
Just a few.
Just
I
a few.
never thought I'd have to mask and gown in my job.
Right.
The
Yeah.
pandemic was a bit of a blip.
Yeah. And the first day you'd had brushes and chalk, and now you got smart boards and laptops.
Exactly, and remote learning.
And
Yeah.
remote learning. So, boy, you have earned your rest. And secondly, what's this tickle trunk worth of costumes that you have?
So I've always had this bin in my office. It's called Choose Your Day, and I talk to kids about, that they get the choice about how their day is going to go. They can let something ruin their day, or they can choose to make their own day. And so I've always been kind of known for my costumes, and whenever somebody needs something, I'm ready. And this morning I heard you talking about a hot dog costume, and I managed to scrounge up one that I had sitting in my bin, and I have never yet figured out what it was for, but I bought it because it had a face opening. I always wanted one with a face opening.
Yes.
Okay.
Now, how, though, if you're a principal of a primary school, do you have one for a 6'2", 60-year-old man size?
Exactly. I know. It's perfect. That's why I never could fit it into my day. I was going to make up a random hot dog day, and you took it from me, and I've decided that's a great day for you.
Okay.
So what are your thoughts, Mark?
Like, do I get to wear this?
You get to keep this.
Oh, my
I am
God.
gifting it to you.
Oh, my God.
It is meant to be.
It is.
Oh, I know what
You can
Mark's going
choose your day.
Yeah. I know what Mark's going to be for Halloween and Labor Day and Canada Day and, well,
First of all,
just
you've
random days of the
achieved the
year.
impossible because I'm speechless. That's impossible. That's never happened before. But secondly, I'm going to hire myself out to backyard barbecues now. That's for darn
It's just
sure.
going to show up at parties.
Tell me you're having a retirement party I can wear this to, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely. That would be fantastic for sure.
Oh, well, thank you so much. That's extremely generous of you. And say hi to all the kids for us at Frankfurt Public. And do indeed enjoy your retirement when July rolls around.
Thank you very much. Enjoy your day.
And then half an hour later comes the picture of her in the hot dog
Yeah.
costume.
The custodian and her secretary came to school and said, "You need to try this on. Why have you waited?
Oh.
Put it on." So she did. And she sent us the picture. So it's up on our Facebook page, along with Mark and his pictures from last night. So you can have a look at all of them.
Got plenty of those there, which is crazy. Anyway, that was a good time. That was a good
It
time.
was, yeah.
But it
was a lot of
all,
fun.
when we got talking about Monday being bucket list day.
Yeah.
And if you're unaware of what the phrase means, it means things you'd like to do before you kick the bucket. It was a famous movie with Jack Nicholson and somebody
Morgan
else.
Freeman.
Morgan Freeman, thank you. All these things that they wanted to do. And that became kind of a pop culture thing. Well, what's on your bucket list? Things that people have. And so, yeah, I never would have thought of Joey Chestnut, but that was a lot of fun. And then
Well, I
by
put it-
tomorrow, when I'm not tired anymore, it'll be even cooler.
I put it under the category of your favorite sports person
Yeah.
or fan of. You're a fan of him, and you've
Yeah.
been quite honest
Oh
about
my
your
gosh.
love of
I think he's great.
Joey Chestnut and his ability to eat so many hot dogs. So
In the video he did with Steph, he signed off by saying,
stay hungry.
"Stay hungry, brother. Stay hungry, brother." Oh, yes.
I'm so happy you got to meet him.
Yeah.
That, and I would think James Taylor would be
Yeah,
on your
and I-
bucket
I
list.
met
That's
him.
something that you've,
I met him.
as you pointed out this morning, you came across a list of some of the more popular. I say popular. I don't know if it's popular,
More
but just
frequent admissions.
shared.
Yeah,
Shared
yeah.
bucket list items. Skydiving was a big one, and
Yeah.
that was something on my list. I wanted to do it when I turned 30, and it didn't happen. So when 40 rolled around, again, it was in the back of my mind, but it was Wayne who surprised me with it. That was my birthday gift from him and the kids was doing that, and I'm
Right.
glad I did it. I'm glad I did it. Don't need to do it again.
Okay, right. Okay.
But it was on my bucket list as something I wanted to experience. The free
Yeah.
falling, seeing the earth, seeing the ground, seeing things from that perspective. It was amazing.
I still know if my wife says, "Happy birthday, I got you the chance to jump out of a plane," is
Well,
exactly.
it was out of love.
Yeah.
But I will say the morning because it got postponed. The day I was supposed to go, it was
Right.
bad weather.
Yes.
And I had the kids there, and Wayne was there. And in the back of my mind, I'm thinking, my kids may see me die today.
Yeah. This is
But it
not-
got postponed. So Wayne and I had to go back a couple of days later. So the kids weren't with me. But my mom, I remember giving her a hug. She was going to pick the kids up for me from school that day. And I gave her a hug. She's like, "Okay, well, just call me when you," and she stopped. I'm like, "If I make it?"
Yeah.
She's like, "Charity."
The
I
second
said, "Sorry."
you hit the earth.
So exactly. When I land safely,
Yeah.
I will call you and let you know how it went. But yeah. But it was a gift out of love.
Sure. What was it like though? That last 500 feet or that last couple hundred feet?
I will say the free fall was once the parachute came, like once we were floating down.
Yeah.
It was spectacular.
Okay.
It was amazing.
Was the free fall terrifying?
It was. You're going so fast.
Okay.
You really can't, like, you're looking around, but you can't really, I'd say, appreciate it because you're waiting. You're like, is it going to open? Is it going to open? Is it going to open?
Oh, okay.
And then,
So you
yeah.
don't control it?
I jumped tandem. Yes.
Okay.
So I was attached to a more experienced
Right.
person
Okay.
who knew what he was doing. I didn't want to be in control. I didn't because it's too many things.
Yeah.
So yeah, once I was floating down, it was
Constant
it was
communication?
amazing.
Was he talking to
I could.
you?
Yeah.
Okay.
He gave me instructions.
Did he
And
give you the 3, 2, 1 on the parachute? Or was he going to surprise you?
I think he tapped my shoulder if I
Okay.
remember properly. He just
Right.
kind of touched my shoulder, so that was to hang on.
Hang
and
on.
then he pulled it and we
hope,
pinned it.
and hope for the best.
And hope, yeah, fingers crossed that we make it through this.
And how many feet above the earth when that went?
Oh, that's a good question. I'm trying to think how high we flew.
5,000 feet? 10,000 feet?
Mark, that is a good question. I'm trying to remember now. I think we got up to, I want to say 6,000 feet.
Okay, that's plenty of feet.
And we free fell or falled for 20 seconds, maybe.
Oh boy,
felt like a lifetime. I'll be honest. It felt like a friggin' lifetime.
Like, let's get this tarp out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I'm ready.
But didn't you tell me that you did it around Orangeville, and even from there you could see the CN Tower?
We were in Innisfil, so just outside of Barrie.
Right.
And as we were falling, he was pointing things out. So you could see Wasaga Beach. You could see Barrie and Simcoe. And yes, if you look to the south, you could see it was far, but you could kind of see the outline of Toronto.
Toronto.
Yes.
So by turning your head, Wasaga Beach, turning your head, Toronto.
Yep.
That's how high you are.
Yep.
Wow.
And you could see the water. Like you could see the bodies of water.
Yeah.
And it was pretty cool. And I'm glad I did it. And I'm But now I want to learn to knit, which that's on my bucket list.
There's a lot on the bucket list of people for improvements rather than experiences, like learning a language, learning a musical instrument, knitting, for example.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, that's something
but
I
like
do.
the reason why you want to do it. It isn't just for you. It's to continue a legacy in your family.
Absolutely. My mom's a knitter.
Yeah.
And as I explained to you, and that you say legacy, my mom has knitted us all our Christmas stockings to hang. They're hand knit, and she did it for my extended family as well and their spouses. And so she's done this. And honestly, that's where it started, because I thought, who's going to keep this going? Once she even if she gets arthritis, which my grandmother developed, and she was a wonderful knitter, beautiful. She used to knit us sweaters and toques and socks and everything, but she got arthritis so bad, knitting she couldn't do it, and it was heartbreaking when she couldn't do it anymore. So I thought of that with my mom, and I thought, who's going to be able to continue that for our family? And that's part of the reason why I want to learn how to do it too.
Are your grandmother's knitting needles still in use? Is that what your mom
I believe
uses?
my Aunt Penny uses them.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, my granny who knitted was my dad's mom, so her daughter now, I believe, has the needles that she used.
I think that's great. I think, bucket lists that include traditions and being able, and if somebody's very good at it and you're not, and you're up next, then okay, if it's knitting, if it's whatever it is.
And the stocking she has made us, and she's made us other things too, my mother, I hold very dear, and I think, that's a wonderful tradition to continue. And because it has such sentimental value to me, I do want to pass that on to my kids, my grandkids, and our family as they grow.
Especially at Christmas time.
Exactly.
This was,
Yeah.
You talk about your grandmother made this, your great-grandmother made this, and cool stuff.
It's that is a connection too. A language would be nice though too, and I would love to travel, which is on a lot of lists too.
That's on there.
Yeah, you just tick it off as you go.
Yeah.
What's on yours? Now that you've met Joey Chestnut, anything?
Well, because I'm so close to the bucket now.
Whatever.
At my age,
my gosh.
I'm not sure, because I've done a lot of them. I don't really know.
Would you have put writing a book on there?
Yeah, I would have. And now I've done it twice, and I'm working on number 3.
Yeah.
So that feels
So now
good.
you can say,
that
I've written
feels
a
like
book.
a large enough accomplishment that if I don't get to the others, like I met James Taylor, I'll probably never meet Tom Brady, which would be...
But you've seen Tom Brady.
I have seen Tom Brady.
And that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I never had a chance to meet Cal Ripken, who was my favorite baseball player, because when the Orioles won the World Series in '83, I was 20, so right in the wheelhouse, right? Same thing for Tom Watson, who was my Tiger Woods.
Yeah, it's your golfer.
When I was growing up, and I wanted to golf because of Tom Watson, so he's the guy you want to meet. Never got a chance to meet him. Maybe I will. His birthday's September 4th, in case you think I...
Well, he's not dead.
No.
So there's still a possibility.
But he doesn't golf anymore, so it's not like I could go see him at a tournament. I'd have to meet him in an airport. So
now you got to find out where he lives.
No, he lives in Kansas City.
And you got to track him down.
In that house, on the corner.
Go on quote-unquote vacation.
Right, yeah.
And go on a golf tour.
Hope he knows Joey Chestnut. Gets him to introduce us. But as far as sort of experiences, I don't know. But I think some of those improvement things, I think I'd like to learn to play better guitar, because I can play acoustic stuff. But can I do the Mark Rashad leads on the rock stuff on an electric guitar? No. And that would probably be cool to learn how to do that, because I can do the basics. Now it's just practice. Do I have the time and the inclination to do it? Probably should, maybe when I hang up the headphones. But I don't know. I don't think I have a lot of stuff. So,
And that's okay too.
Yeah.
It's just interesting when you stop and think about it, because I came across another list today too. Seeing the Northern Lights was on there.
yeah.
So again, it doesn't necessarily have to be something extravagant or maybe time consuming if you need to study or costly learn.
Yeah.
It can be as simple as they say it's supposed to be a good night for Northern Lights. I'm going to go out and see if I can see them. Mm-hmm. And boom, off your bucket list.
Yep, I've read marathons are a big one too.
Actually, that's on
marathon.
mine. I really thought about that. Again, when I turned 40, I thought this is going to be when I...
Yeah.
Hasn't happened yet.
I ran a full marathon when I was 48.
All right, so I got time.
2 half marathons in the same year. That's what I did.
Hey, you know
so
what?
To me, that's a whole marathon.
Either go big or you go home, right, Mark? Like if you're going to do it, you take it seriously or you don't.
Oh, half marathon.
You jump
kicked
in
my
both
ass,
feet.
So. Oh my gosh.
I don't know. I'll just start running and see where it takes me. I would like to do that though. I don't know if my knees can do it, but I'd like to try it.
No, it's good. But again, to get it done once. So I guess I've done enough stuff that okay. There
and
it
who
is,
knows? But the point of the bucket list day, though, was just to remind you it is never too late. Like, it may still happen.
Yeah.
Like in the next few years, you may be like, you know what? I think I want to try that.
It encourages you to get out of your comfort zone and achieve something, because rarely is anything on that list that you could possibly achieve without trying. There's nothing simple about it. It makes you have to get out of your comfort zone and go and do it. And you know you will enjoy it, but the human condition says, I got a lot of time, I'll do it next week. And sometimes there's no next week.
Or, I'm too busy.
Or I'm too busy,
Yeah.
Or it's dumb, nobody would like it.
Yeah.
No, go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. I think the only country that I know I want to go visit is Portugal. In fact, Kath and I have talked about when I retire at some point, rather than say the Florida or whatever, is we'll spend 3 months in Portugal, because it's actually cheaper than the United States right now to go to Europe and a lot of these places.
Well, and a lot nicer, too.
Yeah, it's a lot quieter. And so to go to Portugal for
Relaxing.
3 months and sort of get into
Doesn't
that
sound so
culture.
bad.
No, it does. It sounds
Well, in 3
wonderful.
months, you would get into the culture.
Yeah.
Like you'd
learn a lot about
immerse
it.
yourself completely.
And there are areas which are very English speaking, and I don't mean that other than my comfort level, because I don't speak Portuguese.
And that is a very hard language to learn.
And it's extremely difficult to learn, and I need to eat. I need to buy groceries. I might need the internet and Wi-Fi, and I don't know all the words. But there are areas that, but again, that are very
that would be
welcoming
nice.
of tourists. So, of course, there would be opportunities for me to learn. Of course, I would try to learn it. I would want to learn it. But just if I needed a hospital, I need to know that word. Ambulance, hospital, in pain, blood. Like when you need to know the language, I want to know the language of Portuguese for those. So, but that's, a little bit of that sort of bucket listing, which is very cool. Also, a major hats off today to Administrative Assistants Day.
Yes, Administrative Professionals Day.
Oh my gosh.
And you cannot deny that it's the administrative staff that runs the office.
Yep.
They look after everything.
Yep.
And that's why today you need to say thank you.
The boss, you set the rules. Guess who implements it?
Yeah.
They do. They make sure it runs that way.
I go as far as say they run it for the boss too.
Yeah. Oh, they do.
Like
for sure.
It's
boots on the ground.
Everybody would be lost. It would just be chaos without them. So thank you to all of you.
So enjoy your day today, and thank you for all you do. And join us tomorrow for a Throwback Thursday. It's our final game of threes, centering in on Duran Duran tomorrow. So Team Mark's The Wild Boys, my third selection. Thank you to all of the listeners who pushed me in that direction to say, really, if I picked that one, I'd have a better chance. Apparently, I am up by a handful of votes at this point.
Oh, way more than a handful.
So, not Notorious, which I was going to do first time,
that was
or
the first
View
one.
to a Kill. No.
Second.
Yeah. Landed
Wild
on that
Boys.
one.
I went with Ordinary World, which I was feeling pretty darn confident about until you got to Wild Boys.
Yeah, until I cheated and went with the people.
And now it's not. Still a great song, but no, I think it's going to be Wild Boys tomorrow.
Facebook and Instagram, get that in. And also some guests coming up on the show. And later on this week, at some point, we're going to have Remco de Gooijer on to talk about Walleye Fishing Weekend, the Walleye World Fishing Weekend next weekend.
Yes.
He'll be coming up later on this week at some point to talk about 40th annual, back since the pandemic. They haven't lured a fish out since
I thought they came back
2019.
last year.
So
I
did
thought some were back on the water, but apparently not. No.
Yeah.
It's been 4 years.
4 years.
Crazy.
Fish are lulled into a sense
the
of
fish are
false
like, oh, we're
security.
safe.
Yep.
These guys have finally given up. Not the case.
We win. You're wrong. So much going on in the Quinte region. If you're coming in for any weekend or any events, as always, inquinte.ca has all the details. Enjoy your Wednesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow morning.